Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with episode, what are we up to now? 43. We are making our way to that magical number 48, and that is all, or will all, have been said of Space 1999. What a great run it's been. We got a few episodes to get through yet, and Dorzak is episode 43, released to TV. Aired August 25th. This is our first one, I think, reviewing that dropped in 1977. So it's interesting. Director Val Guest brings it to us. And this particular episode was filmed at the same time as Devil's Planet. And I'm assuming that's why there is absolutely no John Koenig in this one. And that is... But that's irritating. It's unfortunate because, you know, you get through an episode like this and there's a lot to like in this one. And you just wonder how would Koenig played out in this one. But I say in his absence, Tony does play the hero pretty well. Verdeshi, he plays the hero pretty well in this. But again, too, here's another episode that you wonder how does Victor's personality deal with some of this stuff had his character remained into year 2. And so, but it is what it is. So Dorzak, the title of Dorzak actually comes from our nemesis, our main antagonist, who happens to be a Psychon, to Maya's great joy on hearing. The problem, though, is, first of all, the problem is Koenig is out on some sort of expeditionary trip to see if a belt of asteroids might be a habitable place for the occupants of Moonbase Alpha. So he's not anywhere there. So it's up to Tony, who is in command, right? A ship is quickly coming into contact with Moonbase Alpha, a pretty high-tech looking ship. And they've got the universal plague warning or whatever. And initially, Tony and Helena, I think mostly Tony, really does not want to let the ship land. But Helena actually, and I think Alan, ultimately both sort of wear on Tony a bit to let's just see, and ultimately, of course, they'll let the ship land to the detriment, I guess. And we find out that Captain Sahala, who is from the planet Norva, she is en route to, well, she's got a criminal board, and the criminal is the plague, and the plague is Dorzak, who happens to be a Psychon, who left the planet Psychon shortly before all went downhill and the thing ended up blowing up. And as far as Maya thought he was dead. So she's going to be extremely excited to learn that he is very much well and alive, although the story that unfolds is not going to make Maya very happy at all. And so we find out, at least according to Sahala, that not only did Dorzak lead a insurrection on her home planet, but ultimately killed some people. He has this ability, like Maya has the, she's a metamorph. She can transform into pretty much anything she wants, if she has a running template of it in her mind, right? He has this ability of using telepathy, mind control, to cause people to do his bidding. And so we find out that the Norvans, or the Crotons from the solar system, they had implanted special devices within their minds in order to block his ability to control them. So they're able to subdue him, they get him on the ship, and they're going to basically take him and drop him off on a planet where he's going to be exiled forever. Problem is, of course, they land on the planet, and when they do, the one thing that Captain Sahala cannot foresee is that there is a Psychon amongst those on Moonbase Alpha. In fact, I just remembered, I only watched it like one time, but Sahala actually, when she when she sees Maya, realizes she's a psychic, she'll actually shoot her with one of her guns, and that doesn't do well for her in terms in the eyes of Tony. Tony does not trust her at all from the start. But ultimately, in the end, we're going to find out that Dorzak is really, truly the villain. And Maya is going to have to reconcile with that. And so, this story's actually, I thought this story was really enjoyable. And I thought it was, for the most part, I thought it was pretty well written. I thought maybe more important than being written well, it was executed better than a lot of other episodes in year 2. And so for me, I really kind of got a kick out of it. In fact, as soon as Dorzak is sort of freed from his cell on the ship, he starts to pit one elephant against another and start manipulating people, and to ultimately, there's actually a couple scenes that are actually a little bit terrifying. When I say terrifying, of course, I just reviewed the Hills Have Eyes remake by Alexandra Aja for Body Bags. When I mean terrifying, you think in mind, yeah, this playing out in the real would not be too good. And so he actually will ultimately control Helena to do a surgical procedure on Sahala to remove that implant so that he can control Sahala and get her to get him where he wants to go in that ship. Ultimately, you got things flipping back and forth a few times. What makes this episode pretty intriguing is Alan will sympathize with Sahala right from the start. And that, you wonder, is going to be a problem between him and Tony. But they never take that potential conflict really anywhere. And that could have been interesting if they would have created a scenario where Alan and Tony would have kind of got at odds over trusting whether Sahala's telling the truth or not telling the truth. And of course, that would have been juxtaposed well against the fact that Maya doesn't believe Sahala at all. She believes she knows Dorzak from the past on Psychic, and what she remembers is the philosopher, the poet, the one who would not do the things that he apparently is being accused of doing. And so she, that conflict really could have been molded into something really workable that really could have been interesting. But unfortunately, it really isn't. But still, even that being said, ultimately, I thought it was interesting how Maya, she just cannot come to the point of thinking about Dorzak in any other way than how she knew him, which presents the issue of people change, right? And so, someone we might have known who was just awesome might be, not so awesome anymore years removed, or flip it, the reverse opposite. Someone you remember that was a complete bam, now happens to be a pretty good person. People do change. Circumstances, things do happen to people that cause them to evolve for better or worse, I guess. So anyways, I thought it was a kind of an intriguing Leigh Montague, who plays Dorzak. I thought it was great. I did look, and I don't, was he might have been in The Legacy. I should have wrote it down on my stupid paper. But anyways, he was really good as Dorzak. And ultimately, the resolution towards the end, as it plays out, is pretty good. And it was good. It was some really good sort of tension, sort of chess playing back and forth. And yes, one of the better episodes of year 2. And so here we are, 43, moving on into 44. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, but I can tell you I am going from Dorzak to, just give me a sec, The Lambda Factor, directed by Charles Crichton, another Charles Crichton one. So good, I'm looking forward to that then. Charles Crichton usually he's done pretty good on these episodes. So The Lambda Factor, that is coming up next on episode 44 as we get ever so close to the end of 2-year run of Space 1999. It's been a great ride. It's been a great ride. I am looking forward to the Devil's Planet. I don't know anything about it other than the title is extremely intriguing. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, till next time, we always end these things off with Go Bills.